video of me rambling on until you fall asleep. Now, I did one of these about 2 weeks ago, so I kind of came up with my own idea of doing one of these maybe every 2 weeks, 2 times a month. I'll do like an hour-long video for you guys because I know you guys really enjoy them. You guys like the sort of continuation of just rambling and random ASMR triggers that I thought here. Of course, I can do a traditional ASMR video sometime, or if you guys like these just rambling sports ones, definitely let me know down in the comments. And also just by giving this video a like, because of course, filming for an hour, editing an hour-long video, rendering an hour-long video, it takes a lot of effort and time, so I'd very much appreciate any sort of support you can give. So, thank you so much for watching this video, first of all. So yeah, tonight we're going to be obviously talking basketball. Who would have thought? Definitely going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive into some World Cup play as well. Not too much, because actually at the end of this week, if you're watching this video live, I'm going to be talking about the next round. I think those start on Saturday, so I might post a video on Friday or Saturday evening talking about the next elimination rounds, which are finally games. I'm definitely going to be watching all of them. Right now, I've been watching a couple games here and there, but yeah, and I might, if we have time, which we probably will, we have a lot of time here, talk a little bit about football, maybe just some more rambling on in my life. I'll definitely let you guys know. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and let us get started. Usually I cut the video, but obviously in an hour-long-ish video, actually I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I'm kind of just rambling until you fall asleep, but let's see. Oh, there is something I actually do need to talk about. First of all, a super shout out, super shout out, super thank you to a super comment of Code Up. Not sure how you pronounce that, but thank you so much for the super comment, super thank you. I love you. Thank you so much, Code Up. Get into some sports stuff. Okay. Oh man, do we start with basketball or do we start with the World Cup? Let's start with the World Cup, since that is sort of a more up-to-date topic. Let's just take a look at the table. Don't know why they call it the table. It's the standings, basically, of the World Cup. And for Group A, we have a two-way tie for the A group for Ecuador and Netherlands. And if I can remember for my predictions, I think I said Netherlands, and then I think I said Senegal. For my picks, Ecuador I thought would be close. Obviously they are, and obviously Qatar has been out. I think they were the first team eliminated. If I can remember, I think they were the first team eliminated, which sucks. They won no games, being the home team of the World Cup. I guess that kind of happens when you buy a World Cup, when you maybe, I don't want to say deserve it, but man, that's definitely pretty rough. I do know all teams play each other once, so that's 3 games total for each group. I think every single group only has 1 game left, so it's going to be coming down to the wire for a lot of these teams. Talking about the U.S. and a lot of other teams out there, Senegal, Netherlands, and Ecuador, definitely one of those guys are going to be on the outside looking in. It kind of just depends on who they play next. I wish I could check the schedule more better for these games, but anyways, moving on to Group B, we have England, Iran, I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Iran, something like that. I think it's Iran. The U.S. and Wales. Now, Wales, I think, is out completely, if I can remember. England is already on their way through. Then we have Iran and the U.S. battling for the 2 spot. And the final game of the group match 100% not be surprised if Iran wins. And if I, to be honest, was a gambling man and had money to put on this game, I think I would actually bet on Iran winning this game. They are a lot better than I'm assuming a lot of people thought they were going to be. Definitely what I would have thought as well. Man, because I really had Wales in the U.S. battling really hard for the spot, but Wales had a draw and a loss as well, which definitely is not that great. They definitely flopped in that game against the U.S. That was definitely a game they should have won. And then also with the U.S. drawing against England was also a savior for them. Man, the U.S. should definitely be 0-2 right now, but hey, they stuck it to the two top teams in their group, well, arguably, and now they're going up against a very hard offensive team in Iran, so really excited to see this matchup. But I would probably put money on Iran. Maybe that's just me being a pessimist. Maybe, I don't know. Group C, we have Poland and Argentina right now for the 1 and 2 spot with Saudi Arabia at the 3. Now, if teams do come down to a tie, I think the tiebreaker to move on to the elimination round, if you want to call it that, next round, it's goals scored, if I can remember. I think it is just goals scored. And I guess right now, Argentina has scored more than Saudi Arabia. And then we have Mexico, I think, fully out, which does suck a lot, but does suck a lot. Poland is the team I thought would definitely win out the group, and it looks like they are. Same thing with Argentina. Well, actually, I actually kind of thought Argentina would have won out the entire group, and then we have Poland, who's also a pretty big time player in this whole World Cup. But of course, it looks like Saudi Arabia still has a chance. Then Group D, we have France. Second place is Australia, which I definitely did not think that Australia would be going crazy like this. And then we have Denmark and Tunisia. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Again, kind of playing off my last video, which you guys really enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for enjoying that video. That was a lot of fun to I guess, jump into this stuff sort of head first and actually pay a lot more attention, because that video did so well, or well enough. I think I definitely boosted my interest in the World Cup, so thank you guys so much for the enjoyment in that video, because now I'm actually very interested in the World Cup and whatnot. So France, of course, was my very early pick to win it all, and right now they are dominant. They're pretty dominant. They didn't lose a game. Mbappe looks like arguably the best player in the World Cup right now. He is scoring goals on the daily. Really fun to watch him play. So, and the rest of the guys are really, I don't want to say more motivated, but they definitely have a boost, definitely due to all the injuries that France has as well. I don't know if anyone of them can come back during the World Cup. I don't know how severe they are, but France is still France. They're doing pretty well. And then Australia, 3 points. Then Denmark has 1 point, and then last country in the group also has 1 point. So looks like Australia might sneak into the knockout round, which is pretty impressive. Group E, we have Spain, Japan, and Costa Rica all battling out. Wow, a bracket buster for me. Germany might be or already be out of it all, which sucks a lot. Like I said, it's a bracket buster for me. I had Germany going pretty far this year in the World Cup. If you didn't see my last World Cup video, I didn't know that they were bad. I also didn't know that Germany was knocked out of the first round the last year or two already, which, my God, wish someone would have told me that. I wish I would have seen that somewhere, because it would have gave me a little bit of a hindsight. But I did go into that video blind, and I'm kind of glad I did. It made it more fun. But Germany, I guess, is not it anymore. It's not hitting right, so that's kind of sucky. But Costa Rica and Japan are going to be sneaking that 2 spot with Spain, looking like they're making their way into the knockout round, which, in my opinion, I think I might just change the position of where I had Germany going to Spain going. And I think I had Germany going to the semifinals, I think. So I think Spain will probably be somewhere close to that. Obviously, and my next video, if you're watching this live on the day it came out, I'll be posting that on this upcoming Friday or Saturday, like I said. Then we have Group F with with Croatia actually leading the group, tied with Morocco, but it looks like Croatia owns the tiebreaker in goals, so Croatia actually winning it out, which is pretty crazy. Then you have Belgium in third, also with 3 points, so they can maybe sneak in there into second place. It kind of depends on what happens on their last game. And sadly, Canada is out of it all, with no wins, no draws, 2 losses. Who would have thought? Probably me. Oh, wait. Did I have Canada moving on in my last video? I don't even remember. It was a handful of days actually now. I definitely had Belgium, and I think I did have Canada, did I? Maybe I had booked Croatia. I don't remember. I definitely had one of those two, but man, that's pretty rough. Brazil, we have a no loss team as well. With Brazil, of course, Brazil. Still arguably the best team out there. Definitely looking very dominant in their games with 6 points, 2 wins. Then you have Switzerland, Cameroon, and Serbia. And it looks like Switzerland will be sneaking away. Well, not really sneaking away, but making it onto the next round with 3 points. Yeah, that's a really good one. And the last group, with Group H, Portugal. Passing with flying colors, it seems, in this next upcoming group, because they are undefeated as well. And I guess they might be resting like Ronaldo and maybe some other sort of key players in their last match, because actually for them, no matter what happens, it seems like they'll be in first place, I think, or at least making it to the next round. I think if I remember seeing something like that. Well, I guess if no, actually, even if Ghana would have to score a lot of goals for them to make it in the first place, but no matter what, Portugal's moving on, so they might rest some players. Then you have South Korea and Uruguay. I think that's how you pronounce that. That's how you pronounce that country as well. 1 point. South Korea 1 point, and then Ghana 3 points. Oh man, really excited to see what happens in the rest of the World Cup. Again, it doesn't end until Friday. No, I think it ends Friday afternoonish, and then Saturday the actual knockout rounds are out, which, man, I cannot wait to see that, which I think actually, so, like, the 1 seed in Group A will play the 2 seed in Group B, the 1 seed in Group C will play the 2 seed in Group D on Saturday. So, really excited to see what happens with those matchups, and, yeah, I'll be doing probably another bracket. I could probably just go back into the same bracket again and just make it up to date, but I'm really excited to see, man, some fun penalty shootouts, which, definitely is the main reason why I love the World Cup, is when the penalty shootouts occur. Hopefully this year can be a lot. I remember I didn't watch any of last year's, but man, I think I remember watching, not last year's, but the last times, but I think the time before the last time, I remember I was on vacation during it, and me and my family were watching it every night, or at least when it was on, and there were a lot of penalty shootouts then, so hopefully that can happen this time. I'm definitely not the biggest fan of extra his, I guess, point, if you want to call it that. He sort of faked out the goalie to go one way when the ball was actually going a different way, so he like faked headered it, but he didn't mean to fake header it, he just missed it, but it worked out in the long run, so that was a really dope one. But yeah, definitely let me know down in the comments, maybe your favorite game if you're watching a lot of the World Cup, maybe if you're not interested in the World Cup at all and you just skipped this entire part. You can also let me know if you've been any more interested this year in watching the World Cup than any other year. But I definitely have been, and I'm glad, even though the games are on early, of course. I mean, I think some of, well, actually, at the recording of this video, oh my god, wait, is there a game on right now? Hold on a second, I can actually check. Obviously, you guys know I have to record videos super early in the morning. Oh no, okay, so they have 2 games on at the recording of this video, which would be today if you're watching this video live at 7 a.m. But sometimes they had games on at 2 o'clock in the morning, which obviously, duh. That's the time when I record videos, which is really sad, and then I have to get up kind of early to do my actual, like, real life stuff, which also kind of sucks, but man, it's crazy how early these games are. And then even, like, the fun, like, prime time games start at, like, 11, which is usually when I'm, like, doing other stuff, so I can't even really watch those games, but I've been watching almost all of the highlights, definitely watching a lot of them, so I'm definitely seeing the goals, not really catching up to the full game, which, again, no offense to any football fans out there, soccer fans, but my god, you guys have no idea, like, the utter, just, dread and sorrow I would feel if I flew to Qatar to watch my country play in a crazy football soccer match, that crazy atmosphere, you know, you spend all this money and you go to the game and it ends at 0-0, like, I would throw a temper tantrum, I would freak out if it ended in a 0-0 draw, which some games did this year, ended in 0-0, which, obviously, like, again, like, seeing good play is probably the most important part, like, if it's very much an up and down game, but nothing is being scored, I think that is still very important. It can be a lot of fun, but man, that would still very much suck, which is why I love watching the knockout rounds, you know, the penalty kickouts, the extra time, the blah blah blah. It's just more interesting in that way. So obviously I'm gonna be probably watching a lot of those games. I actually need to check this, see if they actually have those games on at a later time, because having to watch a game at like 7 in the morning is just, oh, they are at like 7 a.m. So they have it seems like for the rest of the knockout round, we'll talk about it again in my upcoming video, they start at 7 in the morning, so hopefully no crazy games are on those days, and hopefully the prime time games that start at 11 will be good to watch. I don't know, we'll have to see. And I think it's just single elimination, right? They don't play each other more than once, I think, so really cool. Anyways, going into the next sort of part in this video, I didn't want to go too in depth, even though I just spewed out like 20 minutes of this stuff. Kind of want to just talk maybe a little bit of basketball, like a little bit of rambling about that. the Lakers draft pick this year. That's always a very fun sort of storyline to watch. I think, of course, Luka Doncic and what he's been doing in Dallas is very fun to watch, even though they're kind of on a skid of losing right now, which is pretty interesting. They did just announce that they're going to be signing Kemba Walker, which, my God, I have no idea how to feel about that yet. Of course, Kemba Walker hasn't played any meaningful basketball in quite a long time, and I don't know how this is going to fix anything in Dallas. He is another ball-dominant guard that is going to be taking the ball in the hands of Luka Doncic, not someone who can really play off Luka Doncic, and I'm assuming they're going to play Kemba when Luka is off the court, which I don't think having Kemba Walker there being the sort of maybe not the go-to guy, but even a piece to be on the court when Luka's out, it's not like a give or take. It's not like, oh, this is a great idea, let's absolutely do this. It's kind of like a meh. Does that really like shift the tides any direction? Probably not. And is it a name that people will know? Yes. Is he a player that can drop 10 to 15 points in any given night? Sure. But is that going to fix anything? Absolutely not. I'm kind of like preaching to the choir here, but obviously everyone knows that the Mavericks just aren't doing enough to build around Luka. Now, will that change? We'll have to see, because as of right now, Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks are looking a lot like LeBron James in the Cleveland Cavaliers circa 2003 to like 2009, where it's kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? And you don't, free agents, trades, draft rights, anything like that, and that doesn't happen. We might see the fall of another star going places where they'll actually build teams around him. Let's see. Obviously, Mark Cuban is not dumb, just a kid. Hopefully, has some options here and there, but I don't know, man. Luka might be testing his patience. I mean, Luka Doncic is a very low-key, very go-happy guy. At least that's what it seems like. But this dude is don't have that, big smile, sort of be the face, quote unquote, of his personality. He is a competitor. He is a killer on the court. He wants to win. Maybe that'll drive him out of Dallas. Probably not. They'll probably figure it out. He'll probably win a title or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 in Dallas if they do build it right. But in my opinion, the second any superstar, even all-star quality player announces that they want out, you strike. You throw out, sorry if you can hear the background noise. My neighbors are being really loud right now at 2:30 in the morning. You throw out Christian Wood, you throw out Spencer Dinwiddie, you throw out probably 2 first-round picks, and you go after these players. If it is, Kevin Durant, if he does ask out, which by the way, the Nets are actually on their way back. I'll talk about them really quickly. Or Bradley Beal. One of these days, you don't even try to think about a fit player. You just find any high caliber talent and you find a way to get them, because that is the only way that this team will actually take a step further. Now, of course, last year, oh my God, you guys made it to the Western Conference Finals. That's great. That's awesome. I'll be very, 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 very surprised if we do see that same exact team make it there again in any way moving forward, barring injury and things like that. Of course, that can always happen, but that's just my opinion. But I love Luka. I love him on the Mavericks. Mark Cuban's a great owner, in my opinion, but it's definitely going to be close. It will be close to see what happens with Dallas. Anyways, that's sort of like the up to date things. Kemba to the Mavs. I kind of went off on a big tangent there, but we have time to do that. Then of course with the Nets, like I was just talking about, they definitely found their step again, in my opinion. Sort of, I can always talk about the Lakers. KD is definitely looking more and more like an MVP candidate. Definitely a little bit more engaged, a little bit more playing as a team, a little bit more showing some stride here. I think he just had or close to a 15-point triple-double. He's definitely getting up there in the sort of 15-point per game area, and then the triple-doubles are showing up a little bit more. Not often, because I don't even know if he had one yet or not, but they're definitely, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 9 rebounds, 7 assists sort of stat lines, which are really great. And you also have, of course, Kyrie Irving coming back, which I don't even want to say if that's a good or bad thing, but I think definitely basketball-wise, it'll be a good thing. Then I think I even heard something about TJ Warren finally making his season debut, which, man, people forget TJ Warren is a bucket. He's a 15-point per game scorer any given night, so him coming off the bench, that's a 6th man of the year type of guy, or even I don't want to say a solid starter, but definitely a starter quality player that you can definitely have coming off your bench, deepens the team, adds another scorer, adds another body, which is definitely what the Brooklyn Nets also need. They might be turning it around a little bit, which is going to be really exciting. So I'm going to be really happy to see that. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I can think about any other sort of stat lines, storylines to think about. Not really. Maybe some skidding teams, some teams that are kind of dropping it a little bit. We just talked about the Mavericks. The Blazers are skidding down. They were first like a week ago in the West, and now I think they're 6th in the West. They just have literally one of the toughest starting schedules ever. I think at the start of the year they were 3rd or 5th, and they definitely overachieved the first handful of weeks in the NBA season. But now we're starting to see the leveling out process, and of course with Dame being out, Keon Johnson being out, GP2 still hasn't made his season debut, Yusuf Nurkic being out of the lineup. Just so many injuries on the Blazers team. It's just, it's a killer, man. It's killing us. But I said this before, I knew they were gonna drop from first, obviously, and they're not a title contender, obviously, but they'll even out, and they'll have a lot of highs and lows. We'll just have to see where it gets them at the end of the year. The Pelicans, I know, are definitely on a nice streak right now. I'm just gonna check the standings right now, but I just wanted to do some triggers for you guys a little bit in this video. Not just do like a whispered ramble. I'm also out of breath for some reason. It's kind of hard to like film ASMR because I'm definitely a person who likes to have like a fan blowing at all times, and it kind of sucks with like the air being still. It's like I feel like I can't like catch my breath at all. It's very stuffy in here. So in the Eastern Conference, we have the Celtics at 1, the Bucks at 2, the Cavs at 3, the Pacers at 4, the Sixers at 5, the Raptors at 6, the Wizards at 7, the Hawks at 8, the Nets at 9, the Heat at 10, 11th is the Bulls, 12th are the Knicks, 13th are the Hornets, 14th are the Magic, and 15th are the Pistons. Wow. The Pacers, that is a team I haven't really been looking up a lot of recently. Again, right now, the Pacers, who are in 4th, are only a game above the Raptors, who are in 6th, and only 2 games above the Nets, who are in 9th. So you lose 2 games, another team wins 2 games, you're dropping out of the playoff race to almost the 10th seed, which is pretty crazy to think about. So it's still a very tight race, and I don't know, it will be like that throughout the entire year. I think, of course, just like every NBA season, like 8, 9, 10, 7 will be fairly close. But I think, 5, 6, maybe 4 and 3 as well would start, pushing themselves away from the rest of the crowd. And obviously the 1 seeds on each conference will probably be very dominant, like how they are every year. But I don't know. Maybe this year's different, and like, again, maybe it's only going to be like a game or 2 between the 3 seed and the 9 seed, which, my God, at the end of the year, that's going to be a very big sort of scrunch of teams to fit into the plane, which is going to be very fun to watch. But, yeah, the Pacers, that's pretty crazy. I know they just hit a buzzer beater against the Lakers, which was a pretty insane three-pointer. Very nice. Obviously, the Lakers used to be known to have amazing defense in 2020 to now having a good defense in 2022, and definitely very up and down, like we talked about earlier. The Wizards at 7 is pretty interesting. I think especially still, figuring out what to do with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal kind of being also out of the lineup a lot. Finding themselves at 7 is actually pretty impressive. I did mention at the beginning of the year that I think there will be a play-in team somewhere around 8 to 10, and it looking like that's probably going to come into fold. And then the Hawks on a 3-game losing streak, which definitely is not very good at all. I think they were just in 3rd place in the standings not that long ago, but now roughing it out a little bit, and it's a team that's, I don't want to say isn't a deep team, so obviously they're going to have a lot of up and downs, but of course they're still a very young team. Their best player is also very young, still trying to figure out to be a great leader, a great point guard. It's still going to take him a couple years to really sort of develop at a lot, and I think it's still fine. They're definitely a team that I definitely won't doubt making some sort of big splash this year in the trade deadline area, somewhere around February, because of course John Collins is in the trade talks every single year, and maybe this is the year that they finally do it, and I think it would be the year to do it, because obviously of course you just acquired a new asset with DeJounte Murray. This year I don't want to say is a throwaway year, but definitely trying to figure out a good sort of pairing alongside DeJounte and Trae Young. You really want to maximize that all that you can. So maybe doing like a big reset and just throwing away John Collins would be a good idea. And maybe you won't even need to do it for, another piece to the puzzle, another almost all-star caliber player. Maybe you do just toss him and you just find some like high effort energy guys to sort of take his place. You save a lot of cap space as well, and maybe you throw that money in other directions. Could help them out a lot. Or you go big and you trade him for some other type of forward in the NBA. The Nets already talked about. The Heat are on a 3-game win streak, which is pretty impressive, but obviously they were the 1 seed last year. This year they are 7 games back from the 1 seed, which I think we could all tell they weren't going to be the 1 seed again this year, and they are still barely holding on to that last play-in spot, which, again, I said it before in my team ranking video, they are just mid, in my opinion. They have a good best player in Jimmy Butler. He's a good best player. Bam Adebayo is definitely not becoming that center. At least maybe a lot of us thought he was going to be like a top 3 center, battling out there for Defensive Player of the Year honors and blah blah blah. He's just been good. Tyler Hero just been good. That team is pretty mid, and there's nothing against that, and they could even continue on this win streak and maybe make their way up to 6, maybe 5, 4, maybe even at their very, 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 very best. But they just don't have enough, and I don't want to say they should have a big reset, of course, because obviously Jimmy Butler's a great player, but I don't know. I mean, Bam and Tyler Hero are kind of the future of the franchise, the now of the franchise as well. So maybe I don't know. I don't want to say anything too drastic, but finding Jimmy Butler a new home, maybe, I don't know. The Bulls are the Bulls. They're just they're kind of on the same sort of like mid-ship. A lot of injuries still on that team. It's always really bad for the Bulls. And of course, LaMelo Ball not playing for the Hornets is pretty bad as well. And Pistons and the Magic are trying to get Wembanyama, so it's gonna be interesting. Which, oh my God, could you imagine if Victor Wembanyama gets on the Pistons? Cade, Jaden Ivey, and Victor Wembanyama as the new big 3. Oh my God, that's deadly. That's a pretty crazy core for core 3. Then you still have Sadiq Bey. He's definitely pretty solid, and I would definitely be a believer for them. Let's move on to the West now. Finally, I think it's about the Suns in one, which, man, they are on a 5-game win streak at the recording of this video, which is, again, very much surprising. We have the Nuggets at 2, Pelicans at 3, the Grizzlies at 4, the Clippers at 5, the Blazers at 6, the Kings at 7, the Warriors at 8, the Jazz at 9, the Timberwolves at 10, the Mavericks at 11, the Thunder at 12, the Lakers at 13, the Spurs at 14, and the Rockets dead last, and maybe the worst team in the NBA, maybe you could probably argue. No, actually, I'd probably say the Pistons and Magic, but Rockets last. Wow, I was actually, you guys saw my face about the Clippers being 5th. I actually didn't notice that at all. I thought they were still a little bit further down in the standings, which is great. I was really hoping for them to do this. Well, actually, am I actually rooting for that to happen? Because, obviously with the Rockets, obviously with the Clippers, them being in a good position means less Kawhi Leonard, at least in my opinion. I think the better or best we see of the LA Clippers means that's just less time of seeing Kawhi Leonard because the team's doing good without him already. Arguably, the 5th seed is pretty good, but the better they do means less Kawhi, and I want to see more Kawhi Leonard. I talked about the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard a little bit earlier in one of my other videos, and I'll still stick by it. I do believe that, I don't know, man, Kawhi Leonard is on a very slippery slope right now, on a sort of, that Kawhi Leonard is sort of earning that, and people talk about Anthony Davis all the time not being the same player, calling him street clothes, AD, and blah, blah, blah. I think Kawhi Leonard is right at that same level. I think he doesn't get the sort of criticism as an Anthony Davis or some of even the other stars of today's NBA, but, I mean, it's been 3 years of just barely any Kawhi Leonard, so, I don't know. I want to see more Kawhi. I just want to see more Kawhi. But yeah, 5th is really good. We talked about Portland. They're struggling right now. The Pelicans I talked about being very surprising on the up and up, and then Denver being in 2nd on a 3-game win streak has also been very impressive. You can definitely see that. I don't want to say, well, obviously Nikola Jokic is still a god. In my opinion, he's still the best center in the NBA, and I don't know. I still think that Jamal Murray, him, Michael Porter Jr., they're still a title contender. I think in a nice scenario, them playing at their best, they can still be the champions this year. Of course, it kind of depends on what happens to some other teams, but I think they definitely have a good shot this year. Kings at 7 is also pretty interesting. They're only a game back from being 5, and then half a game of being in the 3rd seed, which, the light the beam, the Kings sort of storyline is also one of my favorite ones this year. It's just a very fun team to watch, and the Kings have always been like a fun team to watch. You guys know I like the Kings. I've been to a Kings game before, home game at the Golden One. I think it's called the Golden One Center or something like that, and I like them. I like De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis, also one of my favorite players as well, and I don't know if they'll make any noise this year. I think they might be peaking right now somewhere around 7. I think that's definitely their peak of the year, but I think again they'll sort of start evening out to being in that sort of 8 to 9 to 10 range. But I think definitely this year they're making the play-in at least, and who knows if they go up against, I don't know, a Jazz team if they decide to make it, Timberwolves team, man, even the Blazers, they could definitely beat them in a single game play-in scenario. So maybe they do make the playoffs this year, which would be really cool to see that. The Jazz are a team that are sliding. I think we might start seeing, I don't want to say the tank, because I don't think we're going to be seeing that until the trade deadline, but I do think we are seeing the step away definitely saw them as maybe a Western Conference, maybe not finalist, but definitely could be in the finals, the Western Conference Finals this year. Things sort of went their way, matchup-wise or whatever. But in my honest opinion, I think they might be a play-in team, which kind of means they'll be like 7th. I think they'll probably be around where they were last year. Now, of course, that team's depth is like extremely questionable, which is kind of why they are where they are. And also, man, Karl-Anthony Towns also looks like he's going to be out for a little bit of time because he did have to just have an injury where he had one of those non-contact injuries, which is very terrifying. He had one of those injuries where, you're just running up the court and then bang, you turn around because you think something's behind you, but it's no one, and he's on the floor just not looking good, which is terrifying because obviously we all know that the infamous Kevin Durant, when he tore his ACL, I think when he tore his ACL, Achilles, or whatever, he did the same thing. He turned around, looked behind him because it looked like someone was there, and he tore it, which is really sad. So hopefully that's not what's happening here. Knock on wood. But yeah, Anthony Edwards has looked amazing. D'Angelo Russell has sucked. I think he's also a player that might need to go find a new home this year. He might even get bought out. I have no idea. He's just too much money and just not the right point guard for this team whatsoever. Anything else? If we're talking storylines of the NBA, gotta definitely talk about SGA. SGA is, man, if you really want to just talk about players this year, point guards more specifically, he's definitely top 5, but man, you could even argue, if we're just talking singular players this year, top 3, I don't know. Obviously you have Steph and Luka, but after that, SGA is killing it on the Thunder, and maybe not convincingly yet, at least for me, but definitely making a case of being like, hey, I can be the guy for this franchise, the best player on this team, and when we are ready to make that jump, he'll be the one, leading the torch, which will be really cool to see. Obviously, that's what I'm also hoping for, and I'm sure a lot of other people are as well if you're a Thunder fan, because of course, say they keep tanking this year, they get a top 5 pick. I'm not too in depth on the players in this upcoming draft, but obviously I know like Scoot Henderson, or obviously Victor Wembanyama, or that's kind of all I can think of at the top of my head. But you have some players that can really make some big noise for some franchises this year. Definitely more deep than last year's draft, in my own opinion. So yeah, I think that Thunder team, again, as we all know, are going to be super stacked in the next 3 to 5 years. And SGA, in my opinion, at least right now, is looking like a player that can be the leader of a playoff contending team, a title winning team. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's sort of it for the NBA, really. Sort of like the recent get-ups of the NBA. And I guess we can talk a little bit about Boston, since they are right now the best team in basketball, which I don't think I would have even guessed to have said that last year. I thought Boston was going to be sort of like how they were last year, but like at the end of last year, like how they sort of ended the season. I thought they were going to be like a good team, a 1 to 2 seed, looking pretty good. Bro, Boston's looking like pretty dominant. I'm not gonna lie, Boston is looking how Milwaukee did the past couple of years. Like they are looking like a team that are just going to dominate this year, and they might be like a high 50, low to mid 60 win team, which is an extremely impressive, coming into account of their best player being, a barely 20-year-old Jason Tatum. And yeah, I guess you just kind of forget how deep that team is. And sure, they do have a new head coach, which is what I sort of took into account going into the year, was the new head coach and whatnot. But even then, like, they still might be, I don't want to say the favorites coming out of the East, but man, they are definitely a title contender. That is no doubt in my mind anymore. I kind of had doubts at the start of the year. I don't know how good they're going to be at all, but like, wow, they are definitely a title contender. I think them, Milwaukee, I still kind of even want to say Philadelphia, but like, oh my god, like, we had the Raiders lose to the Seahawks, so I was wrong on that one. The 49ers shut out the Saints, but also the Saints only had the 49ers score 13 points in that game, so very low scoring outing there, but was right on that one. Sorry, excuse me, jeez. We had the Rams lose to the Chiefs, of course, because the Rams suck this year, and the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Then, I also predicted it, guys, the game of the night. 25-24, the Chargers and the Cardinals. I knew that was going to be the game of, the game of the day for NFL Sunday, and it was a really fun game. Pretty up and down, very close the entire time. Really exciting game. I did watch a good majority of it, maybe like 2/3. I watched 2/3 of it, almost all of it, 75% of the game. The Jaguar and Raven game was also a very good game as well. The Jaguars actually upset the Ravens in that game, which 7-4 for the Ravens. I don't know, man. That's kind of scary. That's not the greatest sort of schedule record, but I think they'll still kick it up in high gear. But in my opinion, man, if you're a real contender, you have to win out these easier games like this. I mean, these are just games that the Ravens should be eating up, but dropping this one's gonna hurt definitely at the end of the year. Then we had the Browns and the Buccaneers. Dang, maybe I didn't do that good of a job of picking these games. That game went to overtime with the Browns beating the Buccaneers, which that means the Buccaneers are now 5-6 this year. They are still actually pretty capable of making the playoffs, even with a record of 5-6, which I think is also kind of hilarious. But just the division they play in is pretty garbage. Well, no offense, I should say. It's not the greatest, but they still have enough opportunity to make it there. The Panthers beat the Broncos. No shock there. Another very funny video of a teammate of Russell Wilson's shouting right in his face, which I feel like every week there's a new teammate pissed off at Russell Wilson. The Bengals beat the Titans. I think I also called that game with the Bengals winning. Jets and the Bears. Jets win. Commanders and Falcons. Commanders win. Viking and Patriots. Oh, we already talked about that one, I think. Yeah, we already talked about those ones. Those were the Thanksgiving Day games, which was a very fun day for sure for football, but I guess I did pretty okay, I guess you could say. And let's see if I can find a game of next Sunday, because I don't think I'll do another Pick'ems predictions video for next week. Ooh, Titans and Eagles. Ooh, Dolphins 49ers. Chiefs Bengals. Last year's conference title game. Oh my god. Colts and Cowboys, that's always a kind of a fun matchup. Oh my god. Dude, next week is even better than last week, and that's pretty tough to do for games. Oh man. Oh, even the Bears and Packers. It's one of the best rivalries. Definitely in football. I don't know if it's the entire sports world, if it's a great rivalry, but that's a cool one to see. You know what? I think the Dolphin 49er game might be my game of the day. I think that'll be the closest game, but I think the game I'm most excited to watch is going to be the Chiefs and Bengals. It's last year's, AFC title game. I think they were in the AFC. Yeah, AFC title game. And, I don't know how sort of Chiefs fans feel about this game, how the Chiefs themselves feel about this game. I don't know if this is a big Reddit circle on the calendar for them, but I don't know. A lot of eyes are going to be on this team because, again, the Bengals were last year's Super Bowl team, and sure you're either A, asleep, B, maybe sort of skipping through sections of this video, which hi, hello if you're doing that, or you watched the entire video, which if you did, you are a psychotic.